proportions. I know I won't forget all he's done. He's the
Une rafale de vent, une feuillée de lune. L'amour, l'amour, à l'amour.
Good morning, Wonderland. Stadga here, out of character during Paris Fashion Week, bringing you along with me as I attend the Louis Vuitton Fall Winter 26 Women's Show. So outfit-wise, I'm wearing this very cozy knit up top. Also the denim. Louis Vuitton denim is actually denim that fits me best. And because I think luxury doesn't exist in statement, I think luxury exists in details. I'm a huge fan of Louis Vuitton denim and their new trunk collection. Nicolas Gestière always does such an amazing job, and that feeling of being transported somewhere that I always feel with Vuitton was so deeply present. The music was like space travel and from another world. Kind of like Dune, my favorite movie, I think was exceptional. So thank you so much, Wonderland, for joining me on this journey, and I hope to see you all again very soon.
If they're out partying more than ever, let them party. If they're out gossiping with the people they claim to dislike, let them gossip. And if they keep seeing the ex they said they were over, let them go marry that ex and move on together with their own lives. Because you cannot change someone that does not want to change, or convince someone to be something that they're not. Just let them be who they are, and if that's in a different direction to yours, let them walk one way while you walk in the other.
I actually really like the transition that social media has taken from social media, where you see content from people you follow, to interest media, where you just see content from all the things you might be interested in. Because over half of the viewers of my content are actually non-followers now. I can access way more people and content wins versus the creator.
It's like harder to get followers these days, but it's a lot easier to get your content seen. We talk about this all the time. You could be an unnamed, low following creator, but if you have good content in whatever niche, you can crush it.
I completely
In the
agree.
early days of social, you couldn't do that. You had to have the following.
Yeah.
You couldn't make a living without the following.
Il piano, per favore.
corri, corri, corri nella notte, cuore mio.
Tante luci l'autostrada ed il resto lo sa Dio.
Senti, senti, senti se qualcosa non andrà.
Nel tuo cuore la benzina certamente basterà.
Avrai
Tutto quello che vuoi,
e tu
guidarlo saprai,
sarai,
più veloce che mai.
però
Frena quando dovrai,
più in là,
guarda l'olio se c'è,
perché
la pressione è già a 3.
però
Se ripensa un po' a te,
lo sai,
quanta forza che c'è.
quest'amore.
There's a big difference between having the same interests and just having the same budget. Something I overheard one of my parents' friends say when two wives at dinner were unself-awaringly bonding over their shared love for art and their shared love for Pilates and their shared love for skiing in Stad. Of course. What a unique set of passions and interests. And thank God one of the husbands steps in and says, you don't share the same interests, you just share the same budget. And I think that is so true for so many friendships, unfortunately, are so deeply bonded by shared spending power versus real shared interests. And it's an unfortunate truth, but I think one people should acknowledge. And sometimes in friend groups, people leave a person out that they think is being left out by choice. They don't have enough self-awareness to realize they're leaving them out by price gating them out of the experiences that bring the friend group together, which is not a nice thing. So if you're in a friend group where members of the friend group have different degrees of spending power, try to be a bit more self-aware about the plans you make for the group and make sure that you allow everyone to participate. So as you plan the rest of your week, try not to forget.
Hey, I mean, they never listen to me.
And I'm the one who's always giving and giving and giving, and they just take. They take. I give, they take. Never put a friend down to entertain the table. The amount of times I've seen a person be a great friend to another in isolation, but all of a sudden become a public critic when others they want to impress are around is countless. Because when a third party is around, your priority should always be to lift up your friend or loved one, to make them look and feel like the best version of themselves, and not to bring them down so you can instead lift yourself up. So whenever I see someone who thinks they're funny by bringing a friend down, I make sure to remind them,
Do you believe in life after love? I can feel something inside me say. Look around, everywhere you turn is heartache. It's everywhere that you go.
normalize greetings from a distance. A handshake with a dirty hand, a hug with a non-family member, or even worse, a bise on the cheek with someone you're meeting for the first time. Quelle horreur and à la poubelle. Because there is absolutely nothing wrong with a good old-fashioned social distanced wave, or even a hand on the heart as you nod and say hello from far away, with no need for direct physical contact of any kind during the greeting. And that's why whenever someone jumps on me to say hello, I push them to arm's length, I rush to the bathroom to wash my hands, and then I kindly remind them to please.
The new flex of unnecessary security guards. Like anyone who's actually in any degree of physical danger wants to reduce the attention they have on themselves and would hire someone who's very low-key and keeps them safe from a distance and only steps in a moment of danger. Yet in these like VIP and artist areas, people like Coachella would have seen this. There's these random people with too much money on their hands and too much money to spend, hiring security guards for the pure sake of status, to like assert some degree of importance, because the pass they have and the watch they're wearing is not enough anymore. I just find it so pretentious. It has nothing to do with safety. It's all a big, strange status grab.
Ultimately, my content is using the language of comedy to talk about the world of high net worth people and the ways they consume, the ways they interact with the world around them. And comedy is a great tone of voice to make things more digestible, and occasionally I do poke fun at these people. However, as you very well said, they are people with enormous privilege. So you could in some ways say it's bullying up, but I think bullying up is practically impossible because it ultimately turns into humorous praise. So although I can say, oh, this type of person is so funny because they're so ridiculous with their watch collection, they can say, haha, please stop. But it's a praise ultimately. And people who aren't in that position, they feel hurt. And that's who the majority of my audience is people who may have some level of aspiration, may even have some level of disagreement. And that's how I build the trust. They understand there is some ridicule in anything that is indeed a luxury, not a necessity. And the humor builds that trust with the audience.
And the weather's so.
We don't want New Year wishes, we want New Year action. For the rest of the year 2026, I prescribe you to pick up your hands, clog your ears, and open your eyes nice and wide so you can see actions and hear no fake promises. À la poubelle.
I promise I can change. That was the old me, and this year will be different.
À la poubelle, and à la poubelle. Instead, politely ask them to do less yapping and more doing, because
I always thought there was so much absurdity and fun rooted in the world of luxury. Luxury to me by definition is not a necessity, so it should be taken lightly, it should be smiled at, it should be enjoyed. And I realized that there were these two opposing powers in the world of luxury. There was the world of heritage fighting against the world of newness and timeliness and hype. And there's the world of old money balancing against the world of new money. And there's the world of tonality and simplicity and Loro Piana pushing against the color, vibrancy, hype, and even logo of my character Colton. These two dimensions I felt could be two extreme people, but also just could be two feelings within the same person. And I know that many of my friends growing up would be kind of like Colton on a Friday night. They want to go out and party and have a good time and wear logos and wear crazy things and express and be fluid with their identity that day. But then on a Sunday morning, they want to be more preppy, more refined, and they want to be a different version of self.